What are you crying about?
It's been so long.
Yeah?
Okay. I'm ready.
For what?
Welcome to the Average Joe Show, everybody. I am Sam.
I'm Amy.
Alongside with us, we got Hayden as always. Say hello. Yep.
I don't feel like it.
That's what we're gonna get out of him.
He's dying in the corner.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, today we have a special spotlight looking at an actor who is very near and dear to us. His name is Nicolas Cage. He has a new movie coming out called Renfield. So we're just going to go over a movie that was like sort of that we watched like growing up, and that was like not the centerpiece of our childhood, but like it was
the centerpiece of our dad's quotes of the day.
Yeah. And then we're going to talk about a newer movie of his in preparation for his new movie,
Wow.
Renfield. So today we're going to be talking about Raising Arizona and Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Wow. Sam, what do you have for drink today?
I'll have whatever she's having. Am I right, fellas?
Yeah, I guess.
So what do you got?
I got a goji berry Mountain Dew.
From Maverick.
Yeah.
It's the only place I've ever seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you got on the rocks today?
That's not on the
Go
rocks.
to this.
Oh, dude, I'm scared that's gonna like.
Whoa.
That was a close one, fellas. What?
This is whippy.
It's right there.
Sam, do you know what on the rocks even means?
It's with ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goofus.
I just wanted to say something fancy.
In the can instead of on the
Nitro
rocks.
Pepsi.
Pepsi.
Yeah.
Nitrous Pepsi.
Is it just is it the regular one?
Yeah, they didn't have vanilla. I like the vanilla one better.
Yeah. I actually haven't had that in probably a year. Probably since we recorded the Pixar Shorts episode with Josh. So it's been like 6 months.
Yeah.
Well, sweet. We all have good drinks today.
Yeah.
We're not trying anything new.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's good. Sort of just a preface. Nicolas Cage is just a meme in
I feel like he's everyone's weird uncle that we all love.
he's the weird uncle of Hollywood. Like
Yeah. He's not like the weird creepy uncle. He's like the weird fun uncle.
he's like the guy that says those outlandish comments at the family reunions that almost get him in trouble, but like it's fine. He gets away with it.
No.
But he's had some legendary roles and some not so legendary roles. Well,
What are some of the not so legendary roles?
Croods 2. Yeah,
No!
Croods 2.
You are wrong.
I actually have never seen Croods 2.
I can't think of what his name is, but he's peak in that movie.
No.
Don't even.
No. His best,
Have you not seen the memes of him being like, guys, look, this is our new home, and this is going to be perfect. And Grabo's like, I'm hungry. I want to yell it. Just him being like, wait a minute! Him just hating her the whole movie. And like whenever they like tumble down a hill or something, he like waits because it's like his mom-in-law. And like his wife is like, oh, Mom! Yeah.
Mom-in-law, not mother-in-law?
Yeah.
I've never heard mom-in-law. Mom-in-law!
It rolls off the tongue better.
It actually does a lot better than what I thought.
Okay, but like whenever his wife is like, "Oh, Mom, are you okay? Mom, where are you?" He always has like, "Is she dead? Is she finally gone?" And just like dies immediately when she's like, "Oh, you think you could get rid of me that easily?
You're
No
like,
thanks."
I feel like that was in the first movie.
Yeah, that was a running gag in the first one.
Oh,
I can't
okay.
remember the second one. I think
I
he's
can't
just trying to
either.
be dad friends with the other dad, and they're
He's
like,
trying to be...
"Dude, barbecues, am I right?" The simple dad things.
Yeah.
Those darn monkeys and them stealing my bananas.
Ooh. One of my favorite roles I've seen from start to finish is Ghost Rider. Like, we can talk about very briefly.
Yeah.
Like, he has like the mixture of like seriousness with like his goofy, outlandish. Like, I don't think it was
the himness of it.
So like he came in and was like, "I'm Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider is a cool, sick character that does all this stuff," but he also
I want to watch my monkey videos.
and sip on my jelly beans in a martini glass because he can.
That's how it be sometimes.
I've never had that time happen. Why can't I be in that moment watching my orangutan ASMR videos with my jelly bean martini in hand? Is that too hard to ask?
Sam, you're simply not cool enough. I'm sorry. I'm not cool enough either, so...
I'm cool enough to...
You're not Nick Cage cool, though. Nick Cage and Ghost Rider cool.
Okay.
We've only got part way there. We're just watching Monkey ASMR and just us being like, Monkey!
You guys, Monkey ASMR
We got 1/3 of the way there.
Can you just insert Freddy falling, please? I know it's a podcast, so you'll just hear it. It's one of, and you just randomly throw, like, I know we don't have any visuals for this show or on YouTube, but just throw that in there, and that'll be our one and only visual for this episode.
Yeah, pause it if you're watching it on anything else other than YouTube, or if you're watching it on YouTube and you're just listening, turn it on right now and look, please. Yeah. I'll even link the video.
Mm-hmm. Another movie that I wish we watched was Vampire's Kiss, but especially leading up to Renfield.
If I had a nickel for each time that Nick Cage was a vampire, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't that much, but it's weird that it happened.
Well, yeah. Some other legendary, like, favorite character, or one of my favorite characters from Into the Spider-Verse is Spider-Man Noir, and his silly little that's a sick origin story, and
that's a pretty hardcore origin story.
Yeah, that's what he says.
Or even him just being like, "Whoa, was he in black and white? Where's the wind coming from? There's no drafting here. Where I go, the wind follows, and the wind smells like rain."
Sometimes I light a match and let it burn to my fingertips just to feel something. All I want is chocolate milk and shooting Nazis.
I thought it was like egg cream.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I want to watch that movie soon for the new.
I know, for the new movie.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
But yeah, Nick Cage is a legend, and we're just gonna quickly talk about a couple movies. It may be short because we already recorded this a little bit ago,
like a week ago.
Yeah, and we haven't watched anything since then.
About a week ago.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know the rest of that song. I was gonna try adding to it, and then I was like, I don't know what this song sounds like, so guess there's nothing.
Okay. Well, let's start off with the childhood classic at the average Joe home.
I love that.
Good old Raising Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Raising Arizona is about a man named Hubert, or otherwise known as Hi. Hi McDonough.
McDonough.
Yeah. And his wife, Ed McDonough. So those two, they met in prison. She was a corrections officer. He was a guy he was a convict.
He's a convict.
He was a convict. He was a convict of stealing from he stole from convenience stores, and that was like his whole shtick.
When you make spiel and shtick together.
Yeah, shpick.
Wow.
The thing that you cook pigs on is a spit. Spit? Okay, we're done with that. I don't like that.
When you eat your pigs with spit on it.
Mm-hmm.
My only seasoning on this ham is spit.
It's my own minerals from my saliva.
Ugh.
I did have 3 cups of pepper put in my mouth before I spat on it.
Dr. Pepper.
No.
Let me correct myself.
But anyways.
This movie was from 1987.
7?
Yep.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah.
So it's young Nick Cage.
Yeah. He looks like Bonavega if you guys watch America's Got Talent.
Or just know who Bonavega is.
Yeah.
And his wife, Ed, is Holly Hunter, who's also Elastigirl. And she's super young in this movie, too.
Well, yeah. It's been
they're little babies.
It's been like, what, almost 40 years? Yeah, almost 40
something
years.
like that.
Something. It's like 43 years, I think. 44. 44 years.
I don't know, man.
Well, they they're married. They get married after they meet in jail, and she's like, "Turn to the right," and then he's like, "Wow, you're quite the spectacle." And then she breaks up with her fiance, which she pronounces fiance, or fiance, and I think is the funniest thing. My finance left me. I'm like, her finances left her? How could you leave your finances?
Yeah, he's like, because he just gets caught a lot, and she's the one that always takes his pictures.
Yeah.
And she's just all emotional. He's like,
what's wrong? What's wrong,
I was gonna try to say like some dumb lingo, but I was like, nope, that's not like a southern thing. I was gonna say,
what's lit, fam? What's lit, Ed?
I was gonna say, what's got your panties in a twist?
Why did I think it was a good idea to just fill my mouth with my Mountain Dew?
Right as I was gonna say something real stupid. Say a banger line that's not from the movie.
Right. But, yeah. So they get married in the chapel at the prison, because that's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
also, throughout this whole montage of them meeting, falling in love, and getting married, all the other people that they talk to that, like, aren't super important to this story, their whole lines are just like, well, okay, then.
Yeah, all of,
and
like the warden and, like, the
judges and all that kind of stuff. They're all just like, well, okay, then. Yeah,
because he's like, I'm a changed man. I won't do anything ever again. I promise I won't do anything ever again. I won't steal.
I won't steal no baby in the future from my wife.
You better go back there and get me a baby.
You better come back here with a baby or I'm leaving. She says everything so fast, and I'm so sad that I can't remember the line.
It's so good. I love her. But the whole thing is, after they're married, they try to have kids, and
she's barren.
Yeah, barren wasteland.
She comes home with like her sirens going, And Hi comes out, just like, oh, what's happening? She just like stumbles out of the car and is just like, hi, I'm barren.
I'm like a barren wasteland. There's nothing. Oh my gosh. I don't know why I thought that was funny.
I know, I was like, continuing, and I looked over and you're just sitting there giggling.
My face is in my hands trying to like
cry.
Trying to like get rid of like the laugh and compose myself. But yeah, so they are like, hi, you know how to steal from convenience stores. There's a couple, a really rich couple who have 6 babies.
They find out the people, like, they're like super rich people. They're like famous in like their like in. I was gonna say in the hometown, but he's like a furniture guy.
He's a furniture like oh my gosh.
He's like the owner of IKEA, but in Arizona.
Well, no, he like repurposes. Is that a word?
Refurbishes.
Refurbishes. That's the word.
Repurposes.
What in the heck is repurpose? Why does that sound?
Repurposes.
What the heck is a repurposing?
That's probably what he calls it.
No.
Welcome to my store where we repurchase your stuff. They're like, sir, don't you mean refurbish? And he's like, no, repurpose.
If my name ain't Arizona or whatever, his I can't remember I think it's Ted Arizona. I don't know.
My name ain't Teddy Arizona.
I'm thinking of Teddy Roosevelt for some reason. But yeah, that's like half of his lines is like, if I ain't Mr. Arizona.
Yeah, and he says that to like all the detectives. Yeah. And he's like, I can't think of the lines that he says. But yeah, I remember him saying that. I feel like there's some goofy gags in that part too, like whenever it cuts to them. Like
when they're in the whole investigation thing is funny. We haven't even said hi and
investigating what?
Yeah.
Come on, Joe's, tell us. Sorry, I'm gonna be talking in a southern accent.
Well, that's the whole. Time. That's what we're doing today. We're talking about raising Arizona.
It's a southern accent kind of episode. I'm sorry.
It's kind of a dosey dog and corralling kind of episode. Am I right? Can I get a yeehaw? Yeehaw!
Reminds me of
Good.
In Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Clink, when they're in Texas and he's like, the stores at night are big in Britain.
In the state of Texas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The stars in there.
Oh wow, this is pretty good.
But yeah. Well, one of my all the FBI people are wild and.
Well, aren't they all just hanging out at the house, just eating food?
Yeah, they're eating his food and drinking their alcohol, I think, and just has their feet up on all the furniture, and he's like, "Don't be doing that. That's more than what you're worth, or whatever." He probably says stuff along the lines of that.
And that's how some investigations happen to be sometimes. Oops.
Well, that's an assumption, I guess, because you could also assume. The cops are just like how they are in real life, as they are in this movie, if that makes any sense.
If you know anything about true crime.
Well, I'm referencing when later on in the movie, after they steal the baby from the Arizona family.
Oh yeah, the Arizonas, they had 6. I thought it was 5.
6.
They had 6 babies. Sextuplets? Something like that? Septuplets. Whoa. What? Hold on, we're looking it up.
I did look it up. Or are they quintuplets?
No,
it's septuplet. No.
Yeah, it's quintuplets. Bro, we could have just read this storyline thing.
No, we're going right now. I'm still going.
His name is Nathan Arizona because it's Nathan Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't we say that last time? And we were still like, yeah, I don't know what the dad's name is, but this kid's name is Nathan Jr. Because we got.
Oh yeah, if my name ain't Nathan Arizona.
Yeah.
Well, it's also funny that they like throughout the movie the baby gets taken by different people and
They're just
they change
it's just Junior.
Yeah, it's whatever their name is, Junior.
Like hi Junior. Doesn't Ed say Ed Junior too?
No.
Okay.
Well, no, he does say Ed Junior at one point.
Okay. Also, her name is Edwina, not just Ed. By the way.
Edwina.
Mm-hmm.
This is all over the place. But going back to how cops treat people and the whole thought process behind that. At one point, one of the wild moments of the movies where the shenanigans ensue is Hi needs to grab some Huggies and then decides to stick up the convenience store cashier.
Mm-hmm.
He gets not just the Huggies, but all the cash in the drawer.
Mm-hmm.
He looks away from the cashier, and looks back at the cashier, and the cashier pulls out like a revolver and whatever, and then
like
starts.
A shotgun?
No, it's a revolver.
Oh, okay.
And then he's already signaled the police and whatever, so the police are on their way, and it just turns into guns ablazing.
Lupin the Third.
What do you mean?
He's
I was asleep
running
during most of that movie, so that's
depression. But no, he runs out of the convenience store. Ed leaves because she's like, "Oh, he's stealing stuff. I'm gonna get out of here." And so he runs out and is like, "Duh, my wife, she's gone." And he looks over and there's 5 police cars coming after him, and he books it.
Oh, is that what you're referencing?
Yeah, just 500 police officers just booking it after this one person.
Well,
just all of them dogpiling on him. Even though that doesn't happen in this movie.
Well, in this movie, it's just one cop car, but both cops are just pull out their guns and shoot at anything that moves. But yeah, yeah.
That whole scene.
That whole sequence is so good, though.
Run through houses, getting more people chasing after him.
Yeah, Hyde is running with a panty on his head. Now, why are you wearing a pantaloon on your head? That's what this one guy says when he almost hits Hyde with his truck. And then I did this in the last recording. You can get ready for it. Where he has by far one of the grossest looking faces while he screams. His mouth is wide open the whole time, and his tongue is just in the middle of it.
Just a super cartoony looking.
And he just is yelling that the whole time and doesn't say a single word in English. Well, he just doesn't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's gunshots going off. Dogs are chasing him because he goes into a backyard and a dog wants to chase him now.
Mm-hmm.
They go through a house and whatever. And little Nathan Jr. is...
Oh, no, right now it's Hi Junior.
No. Oh, yeah, Hi Junior. They're driving around, Ed and Hi Junior are driving around, and it just cuts to random shots of after Ed drifts the car or they're about to hit something, you see Junior just pull his hood over his face that he's wearing.
He's hiding.
Yeah, and he's
oh, I can't
he's
watch.
1 or 2 years old, so.
That's a baby.
Yeah, so he's super cute. And then you see him peek open, and then he covers again, and it's super funny.
Little baby.
Some other characters that pop up in this movie, because this cast is so good. I love this.
It's
cast.
a fun cast.
even though I don't know every single character like none of them, like not none of them, not all of them are big name actors, but
Other
like the
than
big
this
three.
guy.
Well, there's the big three of Nick Cage, Holly Hunter, and John Goodman. And John Goodman and his partner, like John Goodman, he is Gale, and Evel is his partner in crime, literally. Those two are probably my favorite duo of this entire movie.
They're so fun. They're also crazy uncles.
Yeah, but they're the ones that you actually like are sketched out. Like you know they're gonna cause issues. And
no, there's another character that causes a lot more issues.
Which one? The
Leonard Smalls.
Oh, Lenny.
Who's the devil, basically.
My name is Leonard Smalls, but my friends call me Lenny. But I have no friends.
Wow.
And then that's how he introduces himself to Nathan, Arizona.
I forgot that they talk to each other.
Well, yeah, he's like.
I'm also just tainted from because the last time I watched this was before the new Puss in Boots, and now post Puss in Boots, I'm just like, yeah, he's just Death from Puss in Boots.
He sort of is, though.
Yeah, so I'm like, yeah, this guy doesn't interact with anyone else other than Hai, and he's a part of Hai's imagination.
Well, no, he's a part of yeah.
Well, yeah. Now I'm realizing it.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Leonard Smalls for a second, I guess. Like he's the guy that I always remembered what he looked like, no matter what, from this movie. Like growing up, if I hadn't seen this movie in a while, I probably wouldn't have told you that Nick Cage was in this movie. I probably would have remembered this. I would have remembered Leonard Smalls' character because he has just this very.
He would just be the big man to me.
Well, he
big
has
scary man.
He just has like the most different look out of everybody.
Yeah,
and it stands out because he's just this bounty hunter from hell.
Yeah. So he literally is Death from Puss in Boots, but he's human. He's a disgusting human.
Well, he's like. Well, he gets shot at one point by Hai, and like flames spew out of like his hand where he got shot.
I love that.
At another part, he like gets like juked out or something. Like he gets sort of tricked by Hai and Ed, and he like screeches, but it just takes out whatever he does, like whatever noise he made, and replace it with like a squealing warthog or something.
Oh
like,
my god!
It's ridiculous. But
they had to up the ante with them.
Yeah, but the most memorable sequence of this entire movie is his introduction. Is Hai having this dream, and he's like,
"Is that after he steals?"
It's after he steals the baby, and it's the night after, or the night of, like he's going to bed. And he's like, I had this dream that there was a biker. He was sent straight from hell, and he had no bounds against me. And like whatever, like Nick Cage had just some monologue talking about this emissary of hell coming through, and he seeks nothing. He has no happiness. So he destroys everything in his path. He's just wreckage, carnage, whatever.
Dude, I remember Dad showing us that scene because during that it shows Leonard like going down this highway, and there's like fire coming off of like the back wheel and leaves a trail,
just like Ghost Rider.
And oh yeah, speaking of, whoa. But yeah, just like while he's driving down and Hai's doing this monologue, he sees like a lizard and like shoots it and sees a rabbit and throws a grenade at it, and you see it blow up in the background. And I remember, because when I was younger, like I still like animals, but when I was younger, I was more sensitive to it. So like, I was just like, no, not the rabbit, not the lizard. You just killed it. How could you?
Well,
and I remember dad dying laughing because of it.
Because it's so wild.
It is.
But like looking back, like I would probably be the exact same way if I showed my children and if one of my children was like you and was like, no, not the lizard, no, not the bunny.
It's funny because I also
so hard.
I also sit here like, yeah, I probably would do that because I remember because during Shrek, the scene where Fiona sings and like the bird blows up. I remember that making me so sad, and I was like, not the bird, I'm gonna start crying, it's dead. And then they eat its babies.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that character. He's very fun though.
Yeah. He's like goofy. Not Goofy the character, but he's just goofy. Like he's just another goofy character. I don't know, into this goofy cast.
I think Strange is a better.
I think Wild.
Yeah,
is more
character.
Yeah, everyone's wild in this movie.
Yeah.
A little background thing. That who was it? One of the director are there two directors or is it just one?
It's the Coen brothers.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, so Ethan Coen was saying that for Nick Cage's just like with his hair, because he has fun looking hair. Yeah. But he was saying that with how stressed High is, it just gets crazier. And he talks about how it's like a Woody Woodpecker haircut.
Yeah, which is funny.
Like now thinking back on it, it's like, oh yeah, like at crazy parts, his hair would be like all big and crazy looking.
Well, do you remember that High had a tattoo of Woody Woodpecker?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he had it like on the other side of like his bicep, like in the inside. And then at a crazy plot reveal point, which doesn't serve any purpose. Like I thought I'm like rewatching it again after a long time of not watching it. Mm-hmm. I thought it was going to turn into a Batman v Superman kind of deal. Uh-oh. But at one point during like the final fight with Lenny, like something happens and like you see part of like his shirt sort of uncover a Woody Woodpecker like tattoo like on his chest. I'm like, that's weird. And I was just like, are they about to do the Batman versus Superman where like, go save Martha? Why'd you say that name? Why'd you say that name?
It's his mother's name.
Why do you have that tattoo? Why do you have that tattoo? I love Woody Woodpecker. Me too. And then
it's his mom's tattoo.
His mom was Woody Woodpecker. Mine too.
When your mom is Woody Woodpecker?
Yeah, exactly.
Oof.
Let's move on to some other fun characters like Gale and Evil. Mm-hmm. The dynamic duo. Not the dynamic duo of a lifetime. It's a dynamic duo of Arizona. Raising Arizona. Let me redo that line.
No, keep it. Do it, try it. I'm still gonna keep this all in. Try one more time. Third time's the charm. Do it.
Gale and Evil are the dynamic duo of Raising Arizona because we're the dynamic duo of a lifetime.
I guess.
You best remember that.
Hey.
I just flicked you.
How does it feel to be flicked?
I'll sucker punch you if I feel like it. No, I'm gonna do the wind up thing from George of the Jungle where he like twists his wrist around. It's like, and
what, you're not even gonna do the DK thing? Yeah, where he just spins it.
Well, he does. He that's what he also does in the
DK also.
No.
Twist his wrist?
No. George of the Jungle also winds up his punch.
No, but why not just do the wind up punch instead of just charging up the wrist too?
He's locking it in and he's building momentum and then he just sucker punches him.
Dementor
Have you seen
like.
DK spin around a man like that? Like, do you remember?
What do you mean?
In George of the Jungle, where he hits the guy, and the guy just spins. Gale and Neville, everybody. We got to get back to him.
I know, just midway through you talking, I was like, what's going on? How did we come to this point?
George of the McGungle.
George of the McGungle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Gale and Neville, they're the fun duo of the escaped convicts who are going out for one big job of stealing money from a bank instead of a convenience store. But their intro is also very fun. I think this movie has a lot of great introductions to characters.
I think just I can't think of like all the writing, but just like how like it's written is good. Just like introducing everyone and just like setting up motivations and stuff is pretty good.
Well,
and just how everything just intermingles with one another.
Well, it's like Gale and Neville, they say that they're like good people and they want to do what's right and whatever. Mm-hmm. Same with High. Mm-hmm. But High actually tries to change and tries to be better versus Neville and Gale. They just get out after like and saying that they're doing a good deed or whatever, and just want to go
doing a good deed for themselves. Yeah, am I right, ladies?
They gotta provide for Gale Jr. But yeah,
their introduction is them breaking out of prison.
Well, you see them before in prison.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're meeting with like the therapist guy that's like, now, how do you feel being a convict? Do you have any regrets or anything? And they didn't have that whole spiel and whatever.
Therapy.
Yeah. But yeah, one of my another good sequence is their introduction where it's just raining and pouring outside, thunder is cracking, and it's nighttime or whatever. But you just see all these mud puddles right outside of the prison. And you see like one of the puddles sort of like start to cave in, and out pops John Goodman's head. And from that point, when you see his head peeking out to the end of the scene, which is like 2 minutes, is just
him yelling,
just the entire time. Mud is getting in his mouth and spitting it out, and it's gross and disgusting to look at. It has like applesauce consistency, but it's just straight up mud. I assume that it's not mud. I hope.
For his own sake, yeah.
But it's like looking at a child being birthed. He pops the head out, and then he just crawls his way out.
I feel like that's the whole symbolism of this scene, because it's like right after they steal the baby, right?
Huh? Oh, yeah.
Like after he talks about his dream of man. And then it goes to them.
I think that is right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
symbolism, am I right?
Yeah. But John Goodman, he digs himself out, yelling as loud as he could be. He gets out of the hole, and then he's just like, oh! Just like looking out in the sky, just being super pumped about getting out. And then looks down, throws his hand into the hole, and is yelling yet again, like still yelling. Pulls out a foot, and then it's Evel's foot, and instead of like a proud like yell that John Goodman does of like power, you get more of like a shriek coming out of Evel.
Bro, just like a baby.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. He's causing a lot of issues because he came foot out first.
Yep.
But
he's been breached.
Yeah, those guys are a funny comedy duo.
Mm-hmm.
Like at one point, they figure out that that Nathan Jr. is High and Ed's baby, and they're like, now there's a $25 fee, $25 reward. Yeah, those are words. There's a $25,000 reward out for this baby to be returned. We're gonna take this baby back after we have the heist of the century. And so they stab figuratively. They stab High in the back and try and steal the baby.
Mm-hmm.
And
baby goes from Nathan Jr. to High Jr. to Gale Jr.
Mm-hmm. And some of my favorite lines also happen while they're together. So after they steal the baby, they drive over to the heist to steal money from this bank. But they also go to the convenience store because they needed something to entertain the baby, so they bought some balloons.
Oh yeah.
One of my favorite lines is like, are these the balloons that when you blow them up you can turn them into funny shapes? And the cashier's like, do you think round's a funny shape? It's like, that works. He buys like 2 packs of balloons.
So good.
And then
I love, like, during the heist, they run in and they're like, all right, everybody freeze and get down on the floor. And one of the bankers is just like, do you want us to freeze or get down on the floor? Because if I freeze and if I have to go on the floor, I'm in motion.
Okay, I need to find that line because that line is so good.
It's so good. Okay, here it is. All right, you hayseeds, it's a stick-up. Everybody freeze, everybody down on the ground. Well, which is it, young feller? You want I should freeze or get down on the ground? Mean to say, if I freeze, I can't rightly drop. And if I drop, I'm gonna be in motion, you see? It's so good.
I don't know why, but that line randomly pops up in like my dad's like vocabulary of that, like if you want me to like if you mean to see it, if I freeze, I can't rightly drop, and if I drop, I'm gonna be in motion, you see.
That guy's another person that says okay then. Okay then, right there.
Oh yeah.
Also, I love how they have him credited as Feisty Hayseed.
Well, it's funny because like also throughout the whole sequence, they refer to like they're talking and Evel accidentally says Gale. He's like, why'd you say my name? We're supposed to use code names. It's like, yeah, we're using code names. These are our code names. And it's like obvious that their names are, that his name is Gale, and it's just funny.
Yeah.
But what you were trying to stop me, and
later in the quote of Gale and Evel doing this stick up, everyone gets down on the floor, and Gale's like, wait, where'd all the tellers go? And the teller's just like, down here, sir. And Evel's like, they're on the floor as you commanded, Gale. And that's probably when they're like, why'd you say that name?
Oh man,
It's so good.
oh man.
I'm gonna back up to the scene where they're getting Nathan Jr. because that whole scene is so chaotic and so good.
Wait, when who gets?
When they're originally getting the baby.
Oh, when High and
Ed are getting the baby. Yeah, it is so chaotic. Because Ed's in the car waiting, like, just being, like, the getaway driver.
Mm.
And Hi's in the bedroom getting the baby and trying to choose which one. And it's just utter chaos because all the babies get out. One's crawling towards the stairs. And it, like, goes back and forth showing how close the baby's getting to the stairs to him, like, trying to grab all the babies and making sure they're not making a fuss.
Mm.
It's just so good. And the music's super intense. Well, and, like, halfway through, he, like, puts all the babies back and goes back to Ed. And she's like, where's my baby? And he's like,
I couldn't do it, honey.
He's like, I couldn't do it, honey. And she's just like, we ain't leaving until I get that baby. He goes back and they're like, yeah, I think this one's Nathan Jr. It's just
He's the best one.
I also love just Ed getting the baby. And he's like, oh yeah, he's the best one out of all of them. He was just talking about him. And she just like breaks down. She's like, I love him so much.
Yeah, but it's not, it's like
hysterical.
It's so funny. It's uncontrollable.
I love it so much.
Like, that was I don't know why, but that was like the line that I don't usually laugh out loud at like a movie when I'm like sitting by myself. But oh my gosh, I actually like laughed out loud. She's like, I love this baby so much.
Well, it's just so funny because she's just like straight face, and then it's just like all of a sudden she's just like bawling her eyes out.
Yeah.
And just Nick Cage sitting there and being like, I know, honey, I know. Oh, it's so good.
Something that like there. Okay, I don't know if this could be like the last set of characters before we move on to the next movie.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I forgot about and stresses me out is seeing like it's Hi's boss at his new job after getting out of prison, and
isn't it her brother-in-law? I think it's her friend's husband.
Yeah, I think so.
Because after they get the baby, they like throw a party just like, look, we have a baby.
Yeah. Well, no, they're just trying to have other people there. Like, I don't know. They're trying to build a better friendship with people that can influence them versus having Gail and Evel.
Oh,
there.
yeah.
That's my understanding of it. They don't really say why, or I missed that.
Well, it looks like it's... Oh, no, never mind. That's like when they first get home. They set up the house like it's a birthday party. And it's like a big welcome home party for Nathan Jr.
It's funny because that reminds me of when Gail and Evel first show up at their house. And it's like, welcome home, son. Where did your son go? And they're like, it was at her mom's house. You weren't there with them. It's just like a whole like funny. I love the writing. Situation. Yeah, it's just a little funny situation, but
yeah.
But that going back to this
the
family,
boss. Yeah.
Yeah, they have like 7 children. I swear. And they're all the rowdiest children I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
One is writing fart on the wall. Another one is just like grabs like a framed picture and throws it on the ground or something.
Gosh.
Or like a plate. And one of them's like swearing or something. And it's just...
Doesn't one of them like kick his shins
too?
Yeah.
Walks over and like kicks him in the shins. And... They're the most chaotic family I've ever seen in my life. Like, if I were to see them in like real life, I would be stressed.
Steer clear.
I'd just be stressed. Just watching them, and I'm like, something's gonna happen to me, and I don't know what to do.
Someone's going to die.
Yeah.
And one of them might be me.
Yeah. Or I'm gonna kill one of them.
Yeah. I don't know where this is going.
Yeah.
But I don't like it.
it's interesting, like seeing. Okay, one of that guy is like one of the slimiest characters and one of my least favorite characters in the entire movie.
The boss.
Yeah, because
doesn't he get a black eye?
Yeah, because he gets punched because he's like, what if we do like a wife swap? And he's just like, don't you ever touch my wife, and then just punches him, and then puts a restraining order on him and sends like the boss puts like a restraining order on High, and
probably fires him. Who knows?
Yeah, he totally does fire him.
Yeah.
Because he like shows up, he's like, first of all, you're fired. Let's get that out of the way. He's like, I assumed.
Or did he get like a broken nose, not a black eye?
He got a black eye. I think he broke his nose, and he was wearing a neck brace. But
wow.
Yeah, and he's like the one that's like threatening to like he figures out that Nathan Jr. is High and Ed's baby, and then that's when Evel and Gail find out because they overhear that conversation.
I thought it was like the boss was just making up all of this stuff, like just adding more and more onto like
I think he was
the whole punch situation because I feel.
No,
I don't think you need. I don't think you need a neck brace for getting punched in the face.
Well, it's also this movie is over the top, so I think he like hits him, falls to the ground, and hits him a few more times, but I can't remember. It's been a week or so. I can't remember exactly what happened. Yeah,
but I thought it was just him being extra and just being like, oh, yeah, you hurt me so much that I gotta wear this neck brace. And I'm gonna assume that your baby ain't your baby because there's that missing baby and all that kind of stuff. Baby.
But yeah, that's basic. Yeah. But I love this movie. This movie's great. Like if I ever see it at the store, I'm gonna immediately buy it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Or I'm just gonna buy it online.
Just get it wherever you can.
I think this movie was given a few nominations, or even won an Oscar.
Let me see.
But yeah, I don't know. I really like this movie. It's super witty, and but it has a good mixture of like wacky comedy mixed with serious stuff. Like it's a fun movie just to sit down and watch and turn your brain off, and also you can, if you want to sit down and just like dig through a movie, you can dig through this movie and find a lot of good things in there.
So they got nominated for 4 different things, but they're all, it's not like Oscars and stuff like that.
Oh, they weren't? Okay.
It's Young Artist Awards, National Society of Film Critics Awards, and American Comedy Awards.
Oh.
And, the movie was nominated for Best Family Motion Picture in the Comedy section. Then nominated for Best Screenplay and Best Actress for Holly Hunter. And then for the Comedy Awards, it's Funniest Actor in a Motion Picture for Nicolas Cage.
Nice.
Which is well deserved, I feel like.
Yeah. That's one of those movies I could probably watch over and over again and not get sick of.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
Yeah. But should we move on to the next movie?
Yep.
Yeah. So this is a newer movie that we watched for the first time last week, and that is The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Oh,
this movie, we were like, actually, I remember last year we were like, we gotta go watch it, and then it was like in theaters for like 2 weeks, and then it was gone.
Yeah.
It just wasn't popular here, and
yeah, because it came out, at least here, it was like basically the same weekend as Everything Everywhere All at Once, and those two, we were both like, but yeah, let's go watch them, but we don't have time this week, so we'll watch it next week. And it was gone.
Yeah.
Like, both movies were gone, so it was like,
yeah, I think like
cool.
the first week we didn't realize that it was out, and the next week we're like, oh, let's watch it next week, and then it just was gone the next week.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
yeah,
that movie, like this movie is a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
And like, if you're a big Nick Cage fan, like we're not saying that we're big Nick Cage fans. We just like we haven't watched everything, but
I feel like this movie is a love letter to Nick Cage.
Mm-hmm.
And you can definitely, I feel like you can feel it with the movie, even if like you're not the biggest Nick Cage fan, or
I
like
think,
if you
I
don't
think
know.
if you're a big fan of like Hollywood,
Mm-hmm.
of just like the like actors and their lives, I guess, or
Mm-hmm.
like the idea of like studying an actor.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more rewarding if you watch a lot of Nick Cage stuff, because there's a lot of references to like movies that I've never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've never seen Con Air.
I've never seen Croods 2.
Yeah, or Croods 2, which what's her name loves.
Tiffany Haddish.
She's like, me and my nephew watch it. You're like the greatest.
I love Tiffany Haddish.
She's like, does it look like I've watched?
Do I look? I'm 40 years old. Why would I watch Croods 2?
I don't think he said he was 40. He's like 35.
No, he said he was 40.
Oh, okay. But basically, this movie is a story about Nick Cage.
Played by Nick Cage.
Legendary.
Wow.
And he's been having he's been having a hard time getting roles that he's been wanting. He's been rejected, even though he was deemed as like, oh, you're such a cool.
Yeah, everyone's just like, oh yeah, you're a good actor, but then no one wants him.
Yeah.
So it's just him trying to work.
He's just in a rut at the moment in his acting career, and his life is sort of just in shambles. His wife left him, and because it seems like he recently divorced his wife in this movie.
Yeah.
And then his relationship with his daughter isn't very good. And he wants it to be better, but like they even have like therapy sessions with him and his daughter, but when all hope seems to be lost, his agent, who was played by Neil Patrick Harris, calls him and is like, hey, I got this job for you, $1 million. He's like, oh, $1 million? What's it for? And he's like, birthday party. He's like, what? For a very rich man in what was the country?
It's in Spain.
Was it in Spain?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let me see if it says.
I thought it was South America.
No.
Oh yeah, it doesn't say it in this thing.
You want to hear a trivia thing? Nick Cage thought Javi was the best written character in the movie. So much so, he even asked to trade parts, as he thought playing his own biggest fan would be more meta than playing himself. It wasn't until Pedro Pascal was the cast that Cage eventually relented.
That is actually hilarious.
Yeah.
That is legendary. You know what kind of movie that would have been? Like, who would play Nick Cage?
Not only would we get Nikki, we also get Nick Cage playing Javi also.
Like, it will...
like playing his own big
what
fan.
It sounds like is that Nick Cage wouldn't be playing Nick Cage. He would just be playing Javi.
No, I feel like Nikki kind of was thrown into the movie. But I sit here and I'm like, oh, I wonder if they were toying with that kind of thing going on.
Yeah. But that's actually
so
hilarious.
Funny.
Who would you think would play Nick Cage?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question. But basically, let's continue on with this.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. It wasn't Nick Cage that played Nikki. It was Nicholas Kim Coppola.
What? Oh, it's his real name.
Got it.
I think it's always interesting that actors change their names, or like people like I sort of understand.
It makes it catchy.
Like the weird ones are like authors for books. They have like names that are completely different from what they are. Like I've heard of guys just changing up their changing to women-centered names, like.
And some women do that with men's names.
Yeah.
Like, even though this one isn't like ooh, this is my stage name, but Mary Shelley, when she's the one that wrote Frankenstein, when she first published it, she had it under like a man's name, because it's like back in the olden days when women can't write because they don't even know how to read.
They still can't.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Don't attack me. Ow! I'm joking.
Other universe, Amy, please.
I trust him.
Take it back.
I think he's right.
That's why she's beating him up.
Can I come out and play? No, go back in. Okay. I don't know if I'm ever going to be done with this bit. But
she will never leave.
Yeah.
She's stuck here.
I am here forever. I don't know how to get back to my universe. But
yeah, with Mary Shelley, it wasn't until like many years later when Frankenstein was like a big hit that she finally was like, I think one of her friends like convinced her like, hey, you should make it your name so people know that you did it.
Yeah.
She's like, okay. And she also like edited the book a little bit too.
Yeah.
Like I think she changed some names, like added like one or two things. I can't remember. Yeah.
Well, to move along with the storyline, so he takes this job, and when he gets to Javi's place, when he's getting off the plane.
I read what the number one quote for it, what the movie was, and it was like, Paddington 2 is incredible. And just Javi being like, yeah, I told you. So good.
Yeah. But the he gets off the plane and he's approached by the CIA, and they're like, loved you in Croods too. What? I loved you in Con Air. And
what?
Tiffany Haddish is like, I loved you in Croods too. And then guy in the car was like, I loved you in Con Air. Mm-hmm. But he didn't actually ever say that out loud. Yeah. We already referenced that quote. Yeah. But
Nick Cage doesn't know this is the CIA. He just thinks that this is some fan.
Yeah, but
and she slips in like a tracker or something.
Yeah, but that's yeah. But the CIA approach him later on, and they're just like, "Yo, we know that you're here to see Javi. Javi is this big bad like gun dealer, like weapons dealer, and trying to like influence the votes for the next like prime minister, I think, or leader. I don't know what they
sort of leader.
Yeah, I don't know what they call. I don't know if it's a prime minister. But they're like, we need you to do some intel because there's a kidnapping, and they're prime suspect to whatever. And
I love the setup of like the very beginning of like the girl getting kidnapped and they're watching a Nick Cage movie.
Yeah, it's Con Air.
Oh, it is? Mm-hmm. And then just later on when she gets saved and she's like, Nick Cage? Like, no way, dude. It's so good.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. But
no way.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just shenanigans. Like you meet, like he meets Javi, and Javi's like this really big fan of his, and he even wrote a screenplay for Nick Cage, and he's like, I want to make this movie with you, and I think this would be great, and I guess he reads through it, and he's like, I actually want to write something with you. And this whole trip is...
This script sucks, but I do want to make a movie with you.
So they just have like wild like vacation spots and like...
It's just them being
of, like,
it's just them being bros, and
Yeah.
it's just fun seeing them, cause I don't know, it's just fun seeing them on acid and just like looking at these two random people in the town and them being like, dude, are they looking at us? They're following us. Just them getting paranoid. Them jumping over the wall, and Javi's just like, no, leave without me, because if we both die, I wouldn't be able to forgive myself for killing you, so just leave me.
Then come to find out there's a little corner around the wall.
Yeah. It's a little doorway.
But, yeah. Okay. I think...
Pedro Pascal is so good.
Yeah, he's so good. Like,
I've seen him in too many serious roles that it's so fun to see him in just a goofy role.
Well, I think he shines the best when he's, like, doing one-on-one. Like, he does... Like, he's Last of Us. He's Mandalorian. He's in this. Those are, like, his main things that he's been in. He was also in Wonder Woman 1984, and he wasn't really that strong. But he also didn't have, like, one-on-one moments with anybody. Other than the son character, which I did like those parts.
Yes.
The
only good feeling, the sad parts. I was like, wait. The only parts with any kind of feeling. Yeah.
But I think that's where Pedro Pascal, like, that's his thing, is just his next thing needs to be a buddy cop movie or a buddy cop show. Yeah. Oh, dude. You know how good it would be if
No, imagine this. Imagine just how crazy this would be, but it's like, imagine if it's a movie that it's like their characters, like, in this movie, like, if they made a movie and that's the movie, but then you don't know that it's the movie.
So, like, you know, like, the movie that they're in, you know, like, the movie, like, what if it was a movie?
So, Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, those characters, Javi and Nick Cage, what if there was, like, a movie that got... a real life movie, but the whole, like, thing of that movie is that Nick Cage and Javi made that movie and they also star in it too.
So you're basically what you're saying is, to make in simple terms, I wish they made the movie that they were writing. Wow. Okay, hold up.
No.
I wish they made the movie that they were writing in Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. No. But they were starring in it.
No, like, if they made, like it's post after this movie, like, after they made the movie in the movie. Okay. And people were like, oh, dude, this is a really good movie. You guys should make another one. And that's what that movie would be.
So you're just wanting a sequel?
I just want, like... No, I don't want any, like...
This is the most confusing thing I've ever heard in my life.
No, okay, so a movie with Pedro Pascal
and
Nick Cage. No. And it's a buddy cop movie, but it doesn't have to be a cop movie. It can just be any kind of movie. But in the movie, they don't make any reference to it being Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Like, there's... Like, it doesn't seem like there's any connection... But then you find out that movie that's starring those two actors is basically just a movie that was written by the characters from that movie.
I have to process that.
Like, do I need to like draw out?
So, like, I'm hearing what you're saying. And I'm like... okay, you don't even pull out your iPad and start drawing it.
I'm going to draw it out.
So you're wanting a movie that stars Nick Cage and Pedro Pascal.
Okay, hold on.
And so you're wanting it to be basically like a movie that Javi would have written with Nick Cage in Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yeah, but it's not the movie that Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is, because that movie was already made because it was that movie. So there would be no point in just recreating the movie.
I get to a point where I understand what you're saying, and then you just add 2 more sentences, and I'm like, I don't know anymore.
No, okay. Javi makes a movie that just basically becomes...
So Javi's a real person in this scenario?
Yes.
Okay.
And he makes another movie that's starring Nick Cage.
Okay.
That's it. Was it really?
So you want a movie that has the same writing style as Javi? That has Nicolas Cage in it?
No, like where we were saying before. And we're like, oh man, Pedro Pascal really good at just one-on-one stuff. And we're like, oh yeah, we should make his...
So Pedro Pascal's in this movie or not?
Sam! Oh my god!
So the only constant is that Nick Cage is in this movie. But it's written by Javi, who is a man that is played by Pedro Pascal.
I'm gonna lose it.
I am losing it.
No, okay,
I am mentally
Unbearable Weight
right
of Massive Talent. The whole premise of the movie is Javi wants to do this movie with Nick Cage because he loves him a lot.
Yeah.
And come to find out, the whole movie, the movie Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is the movie that they were wanting to write. Or that they made.
Isn't that the storyline of the movie?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. But...
So you're wanting...
No, and then there's a separate movie.
Okay.
That's as if in the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent universe, Javi makes another movie that's with Nick Cage.
I think I'm understanding it now. But I'm not gonna clarify anything because I think we're just gonna dig more into this rabbit hole.
That separate movie, you wouldn't know that it's connected to Unbearable Weight.
So
unless you know background stuff, or it's gonna be like Lego Movie, where at the end it's like, oh whoa, it was just this guy's movie this whole time. So
you're just wanting another.
I wanted super meta.
You want a movie written by Javi, so Christopher. Okay, so like in a real life scenario.
No, don't.
You want a movie. You want a movie that let's say, Sam, Christopher Nolan made that one movie, Inception. And he really liked Tom Hardy in that movie.
No,
and
Sam,
so he
how
made
you know?
Dunkirk, but it's just these two movies are connected because they're written by the same person.
No.
Okay, you've already explained it. I understand my interpretation. You understand your interpretation.
Yeah, but that's the problem. You don't understand my interpretation. When that's the whole point of this conversation, is me trying to get you to understand, but then something's not clicking for you.
Hayden, do you get what she's saying?
I clocked out a long time ago.
Oh my gosh. This whole conversation of you explaining it has been going for at least 5 minutes.
There's no way it's been just 5 minutes.
That's why I said at least.
I can literally draw it out for you, Sam.
Draw it out for me after and then explain it and then put the visual up on the video, please.
What?
I think this is more explanatory. I think this makes more sense than what you're saying.
Are you wanting me to draw it right now or after the recording?
After the recording.
And then we don't get a live you being like, oh, that's what you meant.
Okay, draw it right now.
Okay, I'll explain it while I'm drawing it too.
Okay, I will look at you. I'm putting on my glasses again. I took off my glasses due to stress. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, can you screen record?
No, I don't want to.
Okay.
So red is the unbearable weight of massive talent people.
Okay.
And the whole movie of Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is just what they're writing and they're wanting to make it into a movie. That's the premise of the movie.
So Javi.
Just no, get that out of here. This is just the movie.
So this isn't the movie at the end. This isn't the movie that was shown at the end of Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Like it's not the sequel to it.
What do you mean the sequel? Sam, okay, the whole premise of Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is Nick Cage and Javi making a movie together.
Yep.
And that's the whole, like, that's just the movie that
I've
is.
seen that movie. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then, I'm saying they should make, like, another movie where you don't know if it's connected or not.
Okay.
That's the fun of it, because if you know that it's connected, then you know. But then if you don't know, it'll just be a regular movie.
Okay.
And that movie would be as if those two made another movie.
So it's sort of like
it would just be meta.
It's like
it's like the reverse of The Room and whatever the like kind of documentary type thing, like the behind the scenes movie.
Oh, like it would be disaster artist.
Yeah, so it'd be like an opposite of that. Because they've already done The Disaster Artist, which is Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. But I'm saying they should do another movie where it's like a sequel, like to The Room, which is just.
So what you're wanting? Like, okay, so you got the Disaster Artist first, then you want a sequel that's The Room.
No, I don't want it to be The Room because it's like we've basically seen The Room. Because that's just all that The Disaster Artist is. So it's like I want another movie from Tommy Wiseau. That's not The Room.
Okay!
Does that make more sense?
I said that. I legit said that, and how did that not... Okay. Because I was like, oh, so you want a movie with Javi. You want a movie that is written by Javi's character in Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. And you're like, let me explain it to you again. But that's exactly what I was saying. What you just said, I explained.
Okay, well, I didn't understand when you said it.
I can tell.
Because you weren't understanding what I was saying.
I was totally understanding what I was saying. You weren't understanding my...
No, when I was
This is like the worst game of telephone I've ever played in my life.
But it's only two people
playing. I
know! Ooh.
Okay.
But yeah, now we got that out of the way.
Some of my favorite sequences, like, towards the end of the movie, like, at one point, Nick Cage is told to kill Javi, and Javi's told to kill Nick Cage. And before they're doing that, they're, like, driving over to, like, this spot, and they're, like, sitting in their car, and they're wearing these shoes, and Nick Cage is like, I really like your shoes. He's like, do you really? I don't think they're me. You should have my shoes. Well, you want to switch? And then they
liked each other's shoes.
Yeah, and so they swapped shoes they swapped one shoe with each other, and they're like, ooh, that's pretty nice. I like this. And he's like, this shoe looks really good on you. How about we just you keep my pair? And we just switch. And then you just see them
swap shoes. Yeah. And I love it because it just matches their outfits better too.
Yeah.
Because Nick Cage was wearing like blues and then Pedro Pascal was wearing yellows.
Yeah.
Other than their shoes, because Nick Cage was wearing like yellow checkered Vans.
Yeah.
And then Javi was wearing... What was the... I'm so sad that we can't keep that bit in where we were trying to say what color Pedro Pascal's shoes were. Were they brown?
They were brown.
Yeah,
okay.
They were brown.
Okay.
That seems pretty fun.
I love when this is like after they go on acid, which that whole scene is so funny, just them being on acid. But the CIA is just like, hey, there's this room that we think this girl is being kept in. Like, that's the only place where there's, like, no cameras and nothing, so you need to go check that area out. So he's going to check it out, and Javi comes up behind him, and he's like, are you sure you want to go in there? I feel like you're going to look at me differently if I show you what's in there, so are you 100% sure you want to go in?
I love that, like, the music in there, too, is, like, swelling. It sounds, like, super serious. And
yeah, it's super intense, too,
you're
because
gonna
it's
see
just
the
suspenseful.
kidnapping girl and whatever.
Yeah, and Nick Cage is in there like, oh, no, I'm so scared what's in there. He's like, yeah, let me in. They go in, and it's basically just this whole room that's dedicated to Nick Cage, where it has, like, props from the movie and just, like, a bunch of stuff from all of his movies. And then you go to the end of the room where there's a wax figure of Nick Cage.
Yeah.
And Nick Cage is like, is that supposed to be me? He's like, yes. He's like, oh, it's horrendous. How much did you pay for it? And he's
No,
like,
he said grotesque.
It's grotesque. How much did you pay for it? And he's like,
he said like $2,000 or something.
Yeah, $2,000. And he's like, I'll pay you
I'll
20.
He said, I'll give you 6. No, he said, I
20,
spent 6 on it. And then Nick Cage said, I'll give you 20 for it.
Yeah. And then Javi's just like, I'm sorry, Nick Cage, but I'm sorry, Mr. Cage, but this is not for sale.
It's so good.
I love it so much. Well, I also love because when it's like showing them like walking through, there's like display case of like all the different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like the pillow where it's like I can't remember how, I don't know how to explain.
The sequin?
Yeah,
the
where
sequin
on
pillow?
one side it's his face and then the other side is like just a color.
Mm-hmm.
You see like Nick Cage like swipe it so it's not his face, and you see Javi like putting it back like, no, I need to keep it on Nick Cage's face, please.
So there was a girl when I was serving my mission in Canada. There was this one girl who, absolute meme. She actually has a podcast.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Nice.
If I remember the name off the top of my head, I would put it on there.
Shout out to your podcast, whatever it is.
It's called the Passion Podcast.
Shout out to the Passion Project podcast. Yep, we got it.
Well, we'll put it in the description, and
Yep.
yeah. But she's like, she like the only thing I ever talked to her about was memes, and
was she someone also on a mission, or
yeah.
Okay.
She was another missionary, and like I remember like we would see each other like all the missionaries would meet up together like once a week or twice a week. I'd see her about every week when we would go email home, and she would just be looking up memes, and she's obsessed with Nick Cage, or she was obsessed with Nick Cage, and
not anymore though.
I don't know. But like that was like the thing that she's into at the time, and she got to a point where she bought the sequin pillowcase, and
that'd be so funny to have.
Oh, it like one of the last times I saw her, she bought it, like she had gotten it delivered to her, and she was so pumped, and she's like, I got the pillow,
I did it, everyone, I got it.
Yeah, and that entire like P-Day, like the entire day of us like emailing and whatever, she was just messing with it. She's like, it's so beautiful. just like Ed from
I love him so much.
Oh my gosh.
He's so beautiful.
Yeah. Yo, Ashley, if you have anybody you want on the podcast, hit me up and I'll join up on your podcast and we can talk about We could talk about a Nick Cage movie with you or whatever you want to talk about. We'll do a little tradesy. I know you're like in a different part of the state or even in a different state. So we would probably have to
across the world in California.
2 states over. But yeah. But yeah. We were talking about the sequin pillow. It also reminds me, like, just the whole shrine room makes me think of my roommate. He doesn't have a shrine room because he doesn't have, like...
Because you live in an apartment?
Yeah, we don't have room for it.
Yeah.
But I also knew him in high school, and he at one point, it was when Star Wars Force Awakens came out, and he loves, he still loves him, but he loved Kylo Ren so much that he bought all this, memorabilia, or, he bought, action figures. He had the lightsaber, he had the helmet. It was sick. And he's the youngest in his family, and so, there's an open room, and it was a legit Kylo Ren shrine room.
That's so funny. I love that.
Yeah. That just made me think of that.
I say here can't be me, but then I also say here dude, Arkham Knight Shrine? Yes, please. But I have no money.
You have a Batman shrine, basically.
She's not set up yet. I could probably make one, but it would just be comic books and that's it.
Yeah.
Big oof.
I don't know what my shrine would be if I had one singular thing, person or
I say here right now because you can't really get any Arkham Knight figurines.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just look on Amazon and it's always just yeah, this is $500, and I'm like, can't have that. Sorry.
Well, that's what collectibles are all about.
Yeah, but I can find Bloodborne stuff for $20, and I'm like, oh, dude, I'm so tempted.
Well, Batman's a bigger, the whole Batman universe is significantly bigger than the even Souls series, so I can see why it's.
But cheaper. I feel the Bloodborne stuff. Because that stuff came out in 20... Actually, well, I feel just me personally, I just want Arkham Knight. And I feel that's such a niche thing.
Yeah.
Well, that there's not that much stuff and it's going to be more expensive to get. While Bloodborne is almost everyone considers it the best Souls game. I don't know now since
Elden Ring.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But people are just good combat. Ooh, wow.
I think...
Peak.
I think... I don't know. I think Dark Souls would be a bigger game than
I think
I think it's the most
wise.
popular and the most loved. There's the recency bias of Elden Ring.
Yeah.
But
and just how
expansive
the world is.
I think in 5 years people
still do stuff with Bloodborne because a few months ago Jacksepticeye was yeah, this is my favorite game of all time, and it was Bloodborne.
You can't trust them Irish people.
No, and then a few months ago Elvis the Alien was oh yeah, this is one of my favorite games, and also apparently there's this movie that was based off of the game, or that the game based itself off of. We talked about that. So it's I feel there's still people talking about Bloodborne and just being dude, this is such a good game. But also I feel I don't know. I also don't know all the other Dark Souls stuff that much either. Because I just sit here yeah, Sekiro, want to get into that, but I don't feel paying $60 for it. Even though I did that for Elden Ring.
So, when was the Nick Cage boss in Bloodborne?
He's probably...
Or did you play as Nick Cage in Bloodborne?
Dude, should that be my next character? I want to replay the game because I need to find certain people and get different endings.
Yeah.
Nah, he'd be like, I feel like he'd be like Mikolash. I would be like, yeah, Rom the vacuous spider. But then it's like, no, I can't disrespect him in that kind of way. So he's Mikolash. And his whole boss fight is just you chasing him. It's just a big hallway and he's just running back and forth, just giggling the whole time. You're sitting there like, get back here, you punk! I hate you! And the music's all intense, even though he's sitting there just giggling the whole time.
Oh my gosh.
It's so good. That boss fight was so fun and stupid.
Anyways, on to something that we both know and love.
Yeah.
What else should we talk about for this movie?
That's the problem. I don't know. That's why it's just gone. Wait, what is your shrine?
Oh, my shrine?
I was sitting here like, oh yeah, whatever the host's name from, what's it called?
From Survivor?
Survivor, yeah.
I was going to have a shrine. I don't...
Until the cardboard cutout got thrown away.
Yeah, I was actually legit upset when my sister tore it up and threw it away.
Bruh.
She's like, I saw it. You don't live here anymore. So I took matters in my own hands, shredded that piece of cardboard up, and threw it away.
She had trauma from it.
Because
that's why I keep Kirk in my room. No one can touch him.
So, for those who are on YouTube or who've seen this picture before, there's this drawing that we have
that I made.
Yeah, that is us sitting at a table, and then there's Jeff Probst in the back and Kurt Bester in the back. And
you may not know who that is. Don't worry, I don't know either.
Those are both like cardboard cutouts that we've accumulated. Mm-hmm. I bought mine for like way more than I probably should have.
Oh, yikes.
It's not like expensive. It's not like expensive, but like realizing that this is a piece of cardboard with a picture on it shouldn't be more than $15.
Yeah.
I spent like probably almost $60 on it.
And like the quality of it too.
Oh yeah.
Actually, thinking about it, like I feel like high quality ones, it like goes into like the hundreds, maybe even more.
It depends.
Yeah, and
you
like,
got yours for free. I think you stole it from work.
I didn't steal it. They gave it to me. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna throw it away," and I'm like, "Wait, can I keep them?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." It was so fun because my brother-in-law picked me up from work, and he had a Corvette. No,
Camaro.
He had a Camaro, and
it had like the little sunroof in it.
Yeah, so we had to put Kirk through the sunroof.
I feel like my random shrine would... I don't know. I think it'd be funny to have John Cena stuff, but like I'm not even like that.
I was gonna say Macho Man Randy Savage.
Macho Man Randy Savage would be sick, actually. I don't think I could have a whole shrine room of him. Well, actually,
Bonesaw. Just Bonesaw though.
I think.
Say, imagine just like getting a dragon figure, but painting it like Macho Man so it looks like the mod in Skyrim where they changed the dragons into Macho Man. So it just looks awful. People are like, what is that? It's like, it's Macho Man.
Oh, man, the Macho Man mod in Skyrim.
It's so good. I just love hearing the Bonesaw's ready.
Oh,
it's
man.
so good. All right, here's
some... Yeah, I don't know. I feel like
a wrestler one. Like you would have a wrestler one.
Like
but
I can't
get a specific
pinpoint
thing.
One particular person. Mm-hmm. Like if I had a shrine room, it would be like movies, or it would be.
Well, you could do like one specific movie.
I don't know if I could do...
Us sitting here in front of Hayden's
Jurassic Park shrine.
Yeah.
He has a whole bookshelf, like a 6-foot bookshelf with like 4 or 5 shelves on it, just filled with Funko
Jurassic.
Pops and board games.
Mm-hmm. It's so good.
It's good. It's.
Be jealous, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, I think mine would probably be Marvel.
Yeah.
But I can't like pinpoint. Like Spider-Man would probably be, if I can only have one person, it would probably be Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. On that note.
Yeah, on that note, I don't know. We sort of figured it out. Spider-Man's my shrine room, I guess.
Your thing.
Amy has her Arkham Knight. Hayden has his Jurassic Park. Specifically, Jeff Goldblum.
Oh yeah.
I'm just kidding. I know that's not the most, and one of those Jeff Goldblums I gave to you because I thought it was a fun looking Funko.
Mm-hmm.
We're wrapping things up now because we like Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Super fun. I'd recommend
go watch it.
Oh yeah, if you like Nick Cage, go watch it.
Mm-hmm.
If you like the mentality, like the idea of like actors doing their thing, like Hollywood marketing or whatever. I think this is a fun one. I don't know. Go watch that movie. Go watch Raising Arizona. Go watch Nick Cage. Go watch Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider's fun. And we can't wait to watch Renfield and talk about it in a later episode. But we'll see you in our next episode, and cue outro. Well, thanks for listening to this episode. If you liked this, you should go check out our other stuff. If you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please leave a review. Check out our other videos on YouTube where we have bonus content outside of our podcasts. And if you like that, please like, comment, and subscribe to also help our channel grow. Recommend us to your friends so they can also enjoy the dynamic duo of a lifetime.
And check us out on TikTok and Instagram at AJS_podcast. And check out my art stuff on Instagram at Babby_Yammy. And we'll see you in the next one.
See ya!